Well, I'm really, really proud of our guys to finish out this road trip, third game in 5 days, and to come out and fight like we did against this team on their home court. Really big time salute to our staff and our guys for getting prepared for this game. After Monday's loss, traveling, getting here really late, 2 long days here. I thought we had good preparation, and I thought we did some really good things, some really tough things throughout the game. JB made some huge plays down the stretch for us. Obviously, Ithiel was outstanding all game. Our guys found him, and he delivered and made shots. I'm really glad I took Jerry's advice from last time and got him more minutes. And then, I thought the rest of the guys, Will to have 6 rebounds, all in the first half. I thought he played really strong. Mo to have 8 blocks. It's interesting looking at the stat sheet and seeing that Femi was 0 for 8 and 3 for 7 from the free throw line. I actually thought it was one of his best games from the floor. I thought he controlled the game for us. Made good decisions. We got the switches. He attacked. He made good passes. He had 7 rebounds. He played good defense. And so, again, big-time win for us. Happy. Be a good flight home, and we'll be back real late. We've got to turn around very quickly and play NC State. So, questions?
Jeff, you've often pressed your guys to play well defensively, even when the offense is struggling. You guys were having a hard time scoring the first half. How did you see them respond to that this time around?
Well, again, I thought we were terrific defensively. The things that we talked about in the game plan, I thought we did that. I thought we were up on ball screens. John did that, which was really good. And we tried to plug the gaps. We knew that Florida State had not been a good 3-point shooting team, percentage-wise and number of makes in conference play. So we really wanted to try to make them a half-court team, and we wanted to try to keep them out of our paint. And I thought we did a good job of plugging those gaps and being there and keeping them out of our paint.
Jeff, what did you like from your team tonight? I think Florida State only led 2-0, and they tied it a couple times with the game being in such a tight window. To stay poised in such a close game.
Well, one of the things we talked about coming in was that we have to have poise in the midst of chaos. Anytime you play Florida State, the game can be chaotic because the way they defend is very different from everyone else. They're up, they switch everything, they take everything away. And so we really tried to simplify what we wanted to do offensively and try to take advantage of their switches. I just like the fact that we had poise, even at times, we weren't smart with some of the decisions that we made. And even in those situations when they hit the 3 to tie it up, we still had poise, and guys stepped up and made big plays.
Jeff, what is it? Go ahead.
Hey, Jerry.
Go ahead.
No, I think you might have some other advice that might help.
My question, Jeff, is going to be, what has he done in practice, or was Ithiel done in practice to earn him a start tonight?
Yeah, we haven't been able to practice over these last few days just because of, our schedule, 3 games in 5 days. But after last game, when I went back and watched tape, one of the things I just thought, and I talked it over with my staff, I had made the decision, but I just felt like it was time. If nothing would have happened and we would have been whole, Ithiel most likely would have been a starter from the beginning of the year. And I just felt like it was time to go back to what I felt like would be our best lineup and to get, our best guys on the court. And so it wasn't necessarily anything he's done in practice. It was just a decision, a gut decision that I felt would be best for us. The other thing is that we knew that how they were going to pressure the basketball. I wanted to have a ball handler off the bench. And with the way we had been starting, all of our ball handlers were starting for us. And so we wanted to bring O off the bench. But the main thing is just, it was a gut feeling. It was time. And fortunately for us, he was able to make some shots and some plays.
Jeff, what was the impact Mo had blocking shots, and what does it do for your defensive confidence to have a guy doing that?
Well, it was huge. It was huge. Again, a lot of the shots he blocks are off the basketball. But just to have that guy there that can erase some mistakes if we get beat, a guy that's there. I thought he did a really good job. I thought he had a really good game. He had a chance to have a great game. He missed a lot of open shots, like wide open shots that he's been making. but he didn't allow that to affect his effort and his commitment to, playing really good defense.
Jeff, is that a sign of maturity for the whole team when you have a game where, it's not you're not seeing shots fall offensively, but your team never let that get to them, and they were comfortable in maybe like a quote unquote ugly game because they were playing good defense, and then it was okay.
I hope it's a sign of maturity. It was a sign of maturity tonight. The big thing for us is, can we have continuity with maturity? Can we have it where it becomes just who we are? That's the test. I mean, we've shown in spurts throughout this year that we can, be pretty good in spurts. Like, we need to do it where we can become consistently good.
Jeff, how did John respond? Speaking of maturity, how did John respond, to the technical foul for hanging on the rim, and then to the intentional foul, whether it was in the end of the game or after the game when you talked to him?
Yeah, I mean, it was just, those weren't smart plays. And, we took him out just to kind of talk to him a little bit, and he came back in and he did some good stuff for us. He's important for us. He's a really, really good player. He hasn't gone through this at this time of the year. He didn't have that experience last year. So all of these things are learning experiences for him. He's a really good kid. And so, again, he didn't do some things well in that moment, but he had 8 rebounds for us. He drew 8 fouls. The play where he got the dunk, that was a big-time play, a bigtime finish. And those are the things we need him to do for us. And he had no turnovers, which was huge.
Jeff, you've been last year. There were several times that when Ithiel Horton would try to bring the ball up, you would tell him no, and you would tell us that he said that's not what we're telling him to do. That's not what he is. And then late in the game, with less than 2 minutes to go, he's bringing the ball up and working his way past full court. What has he done over the past year, even not even being able to be around the team, to show that he's ready for those type of moments?
Well, he just did it in that moment, but then we got the ball, to one of our primary ball handlers. The way they were playing us, they were denying in the backcourt. We had a matchup that we liked right there with Wilkes on him, so it was easier for him to get the ball up, and then we got into our offense. The reason why I want Ithiel running is that he's our best threat from 3. And so in transition, we want him off the ball running, because with the way he shoots it, it's easier to get lost in transition. And that's one of the things that we want him doing for us.
Jeff, obviously every win is important, but to get one against a Florida State team that, has lost 4 in a row and had hoped, hey, if they won tonight and went on a little run, they're back on the bubble. A team like that, an environment like that, given the context of the win, I guess, how important is it?
Well, any win for us is big. Obviously, we have so much respect for their program, for what Coach Hamilton has built here. 7 years before he got to the tournament, once he got there, they've been pretty consistent. They had a 4-year stretch where they didn't make the NCAA tournament, but since 2017, they've been there every year. They've been one of the best teams in our league. They've won our league. When you play them, you're going to play against an outstanding team that's tough, that's together, that's athletic, and that can create chaos. And so for us to be able to come in this environment at the end of, as my college coach used to say, an energy cycle, our 3rd game in 5 days, and to have the energy to play with the effort that we did is something I'm really proud of.
Jeff, it's been a struggle at times this year for Will. What was the impact of those 10 minutes that he gave you in the first half?
They were huge. I mean, to get 6 rebounds, in those 10 minutes, he made 2 big free throws for us. He had an opportunity right there at the basket that he just missed, that we have confidence that he's going to make. He made an extra pass off of rotation that was a really, really smart play that led to us getting the foul and getting to the free throw line. I thought he played some really, really good minutes for us.
Jeff, Jamarius had 2 points over a stretch of 3 halves from the last game into the first half, and then he had those big 11 points. You talked about how big that was, but what is it about him that allows him to shake off that kind of like cold spell and come up big for you guys in those kind of moments?
Well, he had a bad game last game. In the first half today, he did some good things. He just got in foul trouble, and with the way the game was being called, we didn't want to go back with him, and we were able to kind of keep a lead in that first half. But he's a mature guy. He's an older guy. He has a lot of experience playing college basketball at a high level, and he stepped up and made some big shots. I was happy that he took the three. That's something that he's been hesitant to do. I think in our previous 3 games, he's only taken 1 3, and he made a huge one for us tonight. It was in rhythm. Obviously, one of the things he loves to do is to get the mid-range. One of the things we talked to him about, especially for this game, is that when you have those threes, you have to be ready to shoot them. But he made big plays, made big free throws for us, and did a good job defensively.
Jamari, you hadn't been able to put up a lot of points in the last game in the first half, and you had foul trouble. But what helped you stay focused in the second half? You got 11 huge points for your team, especially in big moments to keep you guys in front.
Yeah, just for me, regardless if I'm playing good or not, just continuing to encourage myself mentally. Just self-talk. That's really what I was doing over there on the bench. Just continuing to talk to myself, recite scriptures, everything that I can to really just stay locked in.
Jamaris, what was it like just seeing Ithiel get hot, just the way that he did, especially in the second half there? He had 17 points and really carried you guys at points.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's capable of doing that. He's a dangerous catch and shoot 3-point shooter, and he did that tonight. He was big for us. With the foul trouble that me and Mo experienced in the first half, he was able to carry us for a big part of that game, and we're just grateful to have him back, and he's finding his rhythm. So I just look forward to the future games with him.
Marius, did you say anything to Ithiel to sort of keep his spirits up over the last couple of weeks? Because he hasn't played much this year.
Yeah, just telling him to trust his work. Me and him were roommates this past 2 games, so it was great just staying in his head, making sure he was positive. And I knew tonight that he was going to have a big game, honestly.
What's it do for you guys, Jamarius, when Mo has 8 blocks? Like, can you speak to the impact that has for you guys defensively?
I mean, it's big. Like I've said in games past, he's our eraser. And when he does that, it puts us in great standing because he's erasing some of our mistakes, blow-bys, post-ups. He's just coming over and help side and cleaning it up. Even in transition, he's getting back, blocking shots. If he didn't do that tonight, he's done that in several games past. So just having him when he's locked in on defensive end, blocking shots is really big for us.
Marius, did Ithiel say anything to you that made you think he was going to have the big game tonight?
I mean, we were roommates, so I could just tell he was locked in. He was focused. He was listening to the right things. And I just knew that tonight he was going to have a big night.
Jamaris, I wanted to ask about that one sequence with Mo where he blocked the shot and goes down and finishes with a dunk. Does he do stuff like that where he kind of just amazes you like almost every day?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy with his athleticism and his length. I mean, he did that in times prior. If you go back to the Boston College game early on, he blocked the shot and went down full court and dunked it. I mean, he just has that special capability.
Jamar, Ithiel, it seemed like when he would make a big shot, he was just stone faced. Like at least on TV here, it looked like he wasn't allowing the big hits and the big moments to really fuel him up, and he just kind of kept focused. What was that energy like being around him in those moments where he's not exploding along with his exploding plays?
Right. I mean, with him, he wasn't surprised. Why wasn't he surprised? Because he put the work in. And for us, we're just grateful to have him. Like I said, he was locked in tonight, knocking him down, big shot after big shot, and he helped us out in a big way.
Ithiel, how good did just that game feel for you, just with everything that's happened this year?
Felt really good. Felt really good to, be in some type of rhythm. Felt really good to, have confidence out there on the floor. And felt really good to be, back to myself. I've had a tough and rough year this year. And it just felt really good to just come out and just break out.
Ithiel, what keyed that performance tonight?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
What keyed that performance? Like, what led up to you having a night like this?
Just knowing that I was due for a night like this. I put the work in, obviously, like JB said, and I don't know. I just had a really tough year. I just felt like I was due for one, and I've been listening to the right stuff. I've been staying positive and staying mentally strong, and like I said, I was due for one.
Jamari said you'd been listening to the right things, saying the right things, staying locked in. And then, throughout the game, you hit every time you hit a shot, it didn't seem like you were like you didn't spend too much time thinking about it. You just kind of like looked like you were just looking for your man the next play. What was your focus leading into this game? You talked about, expecting for the work to pay off.
Just trusting myself, trusting my teammates. Just knowing that, I hit shots. My role on this team is to shoot and make shots. So I can't really be surprised when I make threes and explode like that. I really have to lock it on the defensive end. I find when I really lock in on the defensive end and don't really worry about the offensive part, things just go really well. So I think that's going to be my mindset. And, I also this phrase kind of, stuck in my head, what coach was saying before the game, just, throw your fastball. And my fastball is my shot. My fastball is my aggression, my passion on defense. So I'm going to keep throwing, continue to keep throwing that and, put myself in the team. And, so we got NC State next, got C Brown next. So see what happens. See if we can keep it going.
Ithiel, you guys only had 21 points in the first half, but it didn't ever seem like you let any frustration about the offense not clicking impact the other game. In fact, you guys look pretty comfortable in kind of like a quote unquote ugly game, I guess. Where did that come from? Is that something you feel like you guys can use as a part of your identity to be maybe comfortable in an uncomfortable situation? Like
yeah, coach always says, we're kind of like a team that keeps the score in the, the 50s and the 60s. So, 21 points in the first half is, I guess we're on pace for, how we're supposed to play. Coach always says, keep it like a rock fight. I really don't know what that means, but like, yeah, it's stuck in my head. So, like I said, we're just being really comfortable in that. I didn't even know we actually had 21 points in the first half. Oh.
Ithiel, when you say listen to the right things, what do you mean by that?
Just listening to motivational things, listening to not just searching up, generalized, things, just searching up things that are like, key and directed towards, what's going on with me right now. I've been reading a book, Never Learn to Doubt. And it's really been a huge and tremendous help to me. Plus I have my mom at home. She's very spiritually anchored. She's my spiritual anchor. And so listening to her, listening to my dad, just telling me to just keep going and, just to put that whole situation behind me. When I came back, it was still lingering. I was still really just angry at the whole situation. And they just keep telling me, just put it behind you, listen to the right things, put some good stuff in your spirit. And,
Ithiel, how much did the your coaching staff here at Pitt help you through that situation and help you to get by that situation?
Yeah, they were there. They were there for me very actively. Coach Cable was texting me. Coach Brown was texting me. Coach Chio was pretty much calling me every day. So yeah, they were there for me.